back in like the 80s, they had these 1-900 numbers you can call psychics or all kind of different places. But there was one that was about Elvis. It was recordings, and the commercial said live recordings of Elvis. Now, my dad was a big Elvis fan. I mean, big time. To the point where, yeah, he had the sideburns. I remember seeing this one picture where we all at the fair, and Daddy had the sideburns. He looked like a cousin of Elvis. But my dad don't like to spend money, of course. You know, things were kind of tight. But when they came on and said $3.99 the first minute, 99 cents each additional, my dad said we about to call that. So we called this number. To listen to Elvis. You know, it was a recording of Elvis, and I'll just never forget it. I called it. My dad picked up the other line. I could hear him picking up, and then Elvis started talking. He's like, "Yo, I've been playing." It sounded like Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo was taking over the conversation, because it was like, "Yeah, I've been playing," and as a 10-year-old or whatever. Even I knew that this was fake. This can't be real. But my dad was fully convinced. I'm sure he was. But so Elvis Presley gets on there, the so-called Elvis Presley impersonator, and was like, "Yeah, I've been playing ping pong lately," and it sounded nothing like Elvis Presley at all. But my dad was convinced that Elvis was still alive. Elvis was still there, you know. I mean, a lot of people were, actually. They always had Elvis spottings, Elvis impersonators. This man, they did not want him to go nowhere. People loved Elvis. They didn't want him to die. They wanted him to stick around forever. You know, actually, his music has stuck around. And the test of time, it's really shown that, I mean, he was a great performer. I mean, long before Michael Jackson, there was Elvis, and he was a great performer. But yeah, the day Elvis died, people were crying, people were upset, and you know, it was a life cut short at the age of 42. But Elvis lived it up big, you know. And Graceland, I was looking on Google Maps, and I seen where. And I got and followed the people around. And so it's Elvis, his grandson, his grandparents buried there at Graceland, like in the backyard. So creepy, sort of, but cool, really. You know, too cool for the graveyard, Elvis. So yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I try to remind my dad about that. I don't remember that. I swear. He'd be like, I don't remember that one. Yeah. Elvis was the, you know, the way Elvis the King died, you know, on the throne, on the toilet. Kind of a bad way to go. But really, truthfully, if he would have been in today's society, the man still be alive. May need some rehab. May need some, you know, some supervision. But a lot of people are like that. You know, the loss of my grandfather when he was 61. But he would have died at 61 years old? Possibly not. They just did not have the technology in 1980 to be able to save him. You know, and then my other grandfather at 49. Yeah. It's all about technology, be able to save somebody. So would Elvis survive today? I'm pretty certain he would. But in 77, hospitals wasn't really up to it, whatever. But man, what a megastar. Man, what a great star. What an amazing dude he was. You know, his grandson looked just like him, and he I think he killed himself. He did, actually. He killed himself about 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. But there's a lot of legends that left too early that people just didn't want to believe were dead, like Tupac. You know, Tupac was a big, you know, and when he got shot, people were like, man, there's no way. This guy's tough. He took bullets before, and everybody kept up with it, and all of a sudden he just died. So a lot of people speculated Tupac was given a different alias, that he was sent somewhere else, and thus the whole Elvis thing began too as well. It's kind of like, people too big just to die in such a senseless manner, But yeah, I believe if Tupac was still alive, I think he would have shown himself, especially with the death of his mother. And, but people even got to the Michael Jackson theory, where they're like, yeah, Michael Jackson is still alive. He didn't die, because they were so mysterious about bringing in that ambulance and all these different things. No, they were trying to avoid the media. But Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, and Tupac, outside all these conspiracy theories, are 100% dead. And it's like, hey, it's sad, but you got to remember the good things that these big stars did. Had all the fun times, the good times. But money does not care about death, and death don't care about money. So there you go. So, like I said, you could be the richest person in the world, but death's gonna come for us all. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but it's coming. So let the people rest in peace, instead of telling somebody you just saw Tupac at Walmart. This has been Broke Man Radio. Just trying to relive the story of my dad and I calling that Elvis hotline, which to this day sounds crazy, but at the moment, it sounded like a good idea. Hey, this is Clay. Love you now.